Good morning, Scott here, known as Cantaloupe to some online, and I'm bringing a subject to you that's interesting to me. It might be of interest to you or someone you know, and that is the subject of history and how every era believes that it is the destination. And I'm going to explain what that means, hopefully, here in a second. So, short story from history that I have heard, and as far as I understand is true. In the year 550, middle of the, I guess that would be the 4th century, right? Yeah, so do a little math. So, middle of the 4th century, in what we now call Western Europe, where there's, a lot of countries like Ireland, Scotland, England, France, and so on and so on, if you know geography. There were a great deal of roving bandits. They were burly people, to say the least. They had very, very little compunction about obtaining whatever, wherever they went. And they got really good at it, actually. Many of them became the Vikings. These are some of the predecessors of what later became the Viking people, the Nordic people, who for centuries, many centuries, survived by pillaging and plundering and basically taking whatever was available, people, things, whatever. And they actually concentrated and evolved their stock, their human stock, to support this and emphasize it. And the point of this is, around the middle of the 4th century, they had gotten so ruthless. Some of them, they split off into a new breed of people, and they're called Berserkers. Or that's, at the time, they were called what translates now in modern times to the word Berserkers, which kind of has an obvious meaning. But they were valued for their warfaring complete absence of inhibitions. And it was common on the battlefields or wherever to see these berserkers not only killing their own people but themselves, and just their strength was in numbers and being berserk, as the name suggests. So, but these genes persist, and this isn't really about that. They did trickle down into the modern world, and you see evidence of this various places. If you've met one, you kind of know it already. Not everyone's like that, obviously, but anyhow, in the following century, now this is the point of the video, 5th century, they thought they had arrived because they finally killed off most of them. They killed off these invading, giants, these men who were out of control, raping and pillaging everybody. And they said, well, we've arrived. This is it. This is what it was all about. This 5th century is what it's all about. Look at how advanced we are now. And then the following century, this is how it gets kind of funny and interesting. Following century, they said the same thing, but for some other reason. And on and on. And what's funny, really funny to me, is that we never stopped doing this, even in current times. We have the internet now. We're good. We just arrived. We got here. Does it feel like we got here? I don't know. Maybe some of us are starting to wake back up. But I guarantee you, 10 years ago, most people, if you asked them, this is it. This is the apex of. We make whole movies about it. The Matrix was about how, right before the turn of the millennium, we had arrived, according to the AIs, if you believe the story of the movie. But we haven't arrived. We have not. We're continuing to grow and learn and develop and evolve, and every century, every generation brings a new challenge, a new opportunity, new advancements. And I think, from my experience with technology, knowing when to roll something back and getting to that point and figuring out what just absolutely can't work or move forward because it's broken or buggy or whatever, those are the real epiphanies. Those are the real opportunities. Understanding when something failed. So anyway, not to bring up too much specific stuff, but undoing an update, rolling back an installation, especially if it was a time-consuming installation, can be difficult. It can be an embarrassing choice, but sometimes it's the only way forward, especially when there's a show-stopping problem. Anyway, little off topic there, but it gets better. It always gets better. Have a great day. Reach out at whitehotrobot@gmail.com.